लेट से ही चालू हो रहा है, ठीक है। तो सुबह हम लोगों ने इस पे 100 क्लस्टर पंचायत क्लस्टर डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम के बारे में सुने थे हमारे डायरेक्टर जनरल NIRD-PR के साथ के साथ। तो हम जस्ट directly take you through this. What is this 100 plus panchayat cluster development program is all about. I will request each and everyone to concentrate at least for 5 to 7 minutes. I'll quickly go through this entire program. So what we are calling this as 100 plus panchayat cluster development program. So there is a reason to put that plus symbol there. It's the only reason for this putting a plus just beside 100 is that this is just a beginning. So we are starting with 100. We have to reach to 2.5 lakhs, but in next 3 years we'll touch 100, and subsequently in next 5 years from right now from next 5 years we are going to reach to 50,000 gram panchayats. So just a brief of what is this thing all about. The context, as you know, I am not repeating this. These are 2011 census data, which says that the nation with 1.2 billion population, still there are 360 million who are living below poverty line and 833 million living in villages. We had a discussion this morning where we have heard about Mahatma Gandhi's statement, the soul of India lives in villages, but still people are leaving village and trying to move to the cities and towns for their better livelihood and secure life. So of all these things, there are some hopes also. So after 73rd amendment and 243G article, which gives the importance to the panchayat, gram panchayat, and there are 29 subjects enlisted in that 11th schedule of the constitution. So these are some of the hopes which I can say that we can take leverage of. So next is, like, other than all these things, there are certain opportunities which has came right now. So since 2012-13 we have heard about intensive participatory planning exercise, and that exercise was more related to MGNRGS and annual action plan. What was that exercise was all about? The entire exercise was all about like planning big and thinking big for the gram panchayat, and what sort of activities a gram panchayat can dream of. That was the exercise. But since that was only catering the need of villagers who are more engaged with the MGNRGS related work, so it could not go to that extent what was expected. So after that, since 2015, there is an initiative called Gram Panchayat Development Planning Exercise. So that is a tool that the Gram Panchayats can use and leverage and can build their dreams over. So in order to do so, there are certain financial implications. For the financial implication, as you can see, there is a provision of 14th finance at this point of time. Using that huge amount, 2 lakh crore rupees over 5 years, this the planning exercise can be taken beautifully. And other than that, already I have spoken about MGNRGS. That fund is also available, so that fund can also be used. State Finance Commission funds is also there with the Gram Panchayat, that can be also leveraged, and then own source of revenue, that is also there. And I was talking about the GPDP. GPDP is nothing but a bottom-up planning exercise which Gram Panchayat can leverage on and can dream big and can execute that dream. So since I was talking about the Gram Panchayat development plan, since the entire process started from 2015, and right now we are standing in 2018. What we found that there are certain stumbling blocks, like why this Gram Panchayat development planning was not effectively implemented in the Gram Panchayat. NIRD has taken few researchers, and with the help of the UN organizations, and they have came up with a certain results that why it was not working properly. Some of the results are like conducive environment was not available. the departments, the extension officers were working in silos, the departments are having different guidelines, the different like ideas to approach to the Gram Panchayat. Then there was instances like departments are having different time frame, like when the plan should be submitted, how it would be taken forward, when finance will come, financial support will come, all these things. So everything was going in silos. Then other than all these things, there was unavailability of the information. There was this is one of the major links, missing links. That is from departments with even the district level also. At the district level also, like they were not getting the proper information from all these things. And few other things like technical support. When we talk about the big plan at the Gram Panchayat level, the Gram Panchayats have came up with beautiful plan, but Gram Panchayat was not having that idea how to go ahead with. Who will provide them that technical support, that professional support, which is required to implement those plans fruitfully in the ground. So those things were missing. Poor monitoring mechanism, community mobilization was not effective. So the Gram Sabha was only available in pen and paper only. So the quorum and all these things were happening on pen and paper only. But now, as I have shown you in the earlier slides, there are certain financial support which is coming additionally to a Gram Panchayat. Using that, the Gram Panchayats can really once again restart and can think big. So now, in doing all these things, like I have shown you the lacunas also. So how NIRD-PR is trying to overcome those lacunas, how to address those issues which we have shown that. So what NIRD is trying to do is NIRD is trying to create island of successes. You want to create the school of practice, and at the same time, as I said in my first slide itself, we want to reach out at least to those 50,000 Gram Panchayats. Those are nothing but mission Antodaya Gram Panchayats. So these mission Antodaya Gram Panchayats are mostly located in the aspirational district. Aspirational districts, you might be knowing, everyone is by now well acquainted with this word of aspirational districts, but these are nothing but those backward districts. 115 backward districts. Right now they have added 2 more, so 117 backward districts we are talking about. So the idea is, like as I said, 100 will start off with 100 clusters. Each cluster is equivalent to 4 to 5 Gram Panchayats. So altogether it will be coming to around 500 Gram Panchayats. So these 500 Gram Panchayats in next 2 to 3 years, say, will induce the good practices to the nearby Gram Panchayat. So like that way we want to touch that figure of 50,000. At the same time, I think last year there was a committee, Sumit Bose committee, who has recommended few things for the Gram Panchayats. Like they have raised concern about the human resource support at the Gram Panchayat level, the functioning of the Gram Panchayats. All these issues were raised in Sumit Bose committee report. So this is probably we had an opportunity to meet with Dr. Sumit Bose last, I think in January or February. So he was also happy that for the first time probably the government is considering these recommendations seriously and taking things on the ground. So this is one area where NIRD want to validate and want to support the Gram Panchayat with additional human resources as well as the technical resources. And then the other point is this entire program is, as I said, it's almost an experiment. So here fund, function and function is we want to pull everyone together. We want to like showcase as the best example. So similarly, the other things, as I have already told, that GPDP, Gram Panchayat Development Plan and Annual Action Plan, they need to be bridged together. You cannot go in silos. So the main goal of this entire program is to ensure that sustainable development in cluster of Gram Panchayat. So we want to secure the current stage and the stage to come. So the past, we are not, we can reflect on the past things and we can learn from it, but at the same time we have to build on the past and we have to move forward towards sustainable development. So the main objectives, these objectives you can go through. I will keep this slide here itself. So I have mostly touched on all these things. So since this small session from NIRD has been squeezed in this program, so I'll quickly go through this thing. Coming to the, like, what would be the process to approach or reach that goal and objective. So because since morning we are also hearing at the same time NIRD's strength is this capacity building. We will start off with the capacity building, then we'll bring in, we had a discussion about technology also. We want to use the technology in much more like better manner. Rather than using it for unwanted things, so we want to bring in technology in the process of planning, in the process of monitoring, in the process of implementation. Then I've spoken about the convergence and the other things you will. Okay, the last point I would like to emphasize. So everyone nowadays have heard about the Sustainable Development Goal. So Sustainable Development Goal that the UN has formed up this 17 goals. 170 nations are working towards achieving these goals. But what we are trying to do is, like, let us localize these SDGs. SDG is talking about that hunger free, then open defecation free, then it talks about the environment, everything. But everything we can achieve if we start from the village. So we are talking about localizing this SDG. So this is the program outreach where we are talking about this 100 clusters. It has been selected already at this point of time, and as I said, it is 100 plus. So we are adding more and more. So the 100 clusters, this is all across 19 states and 83 districts and 95 blocks and 426 gram panchayat. And as I said, we are adding more and more as and when required and as per the assistance of different organizations and partners. So how we have came up to those 100 clusters? So there is a scientific approach to that as well. So we have gone for contiguity of the gram panchayats, mapping those gram panchayats which are nearby, and then we have given a cap of 30,000 population for one cluster. Other than that, we have also looked into the watershed zone of that particular gram panchayat. And last of all, as I have said a few minutes back, we have overlapped aspirational districts and mission onto the gram panchayats. So this is the program architecture. Here I would like to show you one particular area. See, this side, left side is the existing support system. Their NIRD is here at the national level, then there are SIRDs and Panchayati Raj and Rural Development Departments, then District Collector and Line Departments, BDO and Line Department, Panchayat Samiti, and here is the Gram Panchayat. This is the existing system. Here what we are putting additionally at the central level, we are forming a PMU here at NIRD, Project Monitoring Unit. At the state level, we are giving an additional support, like state coordinators we are putting there, and at the block level we are seeking your help. Here is the area where, or like whosoever is interested in this journey can chip in. So the grassroots organizations, they can chip in at the block level. And lastly, as I said, the like two additional things we are putting in. So Panchayat cluster development professionals, they will be working in at the cluster level. So one cluster will get 2 Panchayat cluster development professionals, and one cluster will get 2 beacon leaders. So beacon leaders, like I would request people who are sitting here, they can get themselves associated as a beacon leader. And at the same time, like Panchayat cluster and at the same time at the block level, they can also join. So these things you can go through.